Welcome to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show. Today I've got a treat for you. Chocolate chip cookies. Now I know I have another recipe on my site that is for chocolate chip cookies, but they're kind of a healthier version and that can be eaten anytime really, but this is a chocolate chip cookie. They are so delicious. So we're just gonna get right into it. We're gonna get started. The one tip I will say, I found these chocolate chips. They don't have any dairy. There is still sugar. Let's see, it's just unsweetened chocolate and cane sugar. So there still is some sugar in the chocolate chips, but I think for us at this point, we've lost the weight that we wanted to lose. So we can let up on a little bit of things here and there, a little bit of oil, a little bit of sugar, but overall we don't use any oil or sugar in any of our recipes. So, but this we're going to make a small exception because they are chocolate chips. And we have to have chocolate chips in chocolate chip cookies. Okay, so I'm going to start with my flax eggs. So flax eggs are a substitute for real eggs, and I have 2 tablespoons of flax, ground flax here, and I have, it's about a quarter of a cup of water. I'm just going to put that in there and let that sit while I'm mixing some of my other things together, and then that will gel up and create our eggs. It's going to help it all stick together. So we're going to do our dry ingredients first. We're just going to mix them into our bowl. What I have here, I've got oat flour. There's 1.5 cups of oat flour, and I've already preheated my oven to 350. And I have here sweet potato flour. This may be something that's new to you guys. You can order it online, or I just make it. I have a dehydrator, and it's super simple. I just cube up a couple sweet potatoes into really small cubes and lay them out on my dehydrator sheets and dehydrate them overnight. And then I put them in my blender. You can use probably any blender really, because it's just to grind it into a fine powder like flour. And I have found that this is a really great alternative for flours, because it's just a sweet potato. So you're not getting any grains or any wheat. Then I have cocoa powder. So it was 1/2 cup of sweet potato flour, 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. And my complete recipe is in the description link below. And that's with all of my videos. I have about a teaspoon of baking powder. All of my videos, the links are in the description. So if you're looking for my recipes, that's where they are. So we're just going to gently stir this up a little bit, just to get all the, like the baking powder distributed and the cocoa distributed, so you don't have any chunks of that stuff in there. Chunks of cocoa, that would be kind of yuck to bite into a chunk of cocoa powder just by itself. Okay, that's pretty good. Now I'm going to mix my wet ingredients. Although, you know, cashews aren't a wet ingredient, but I'm going to mix them up with the wet ingredients just to get it a little more creamy. So I have a cup of cashews, a cup of almond milk, and you can use any nut milk you choose. I use almond milk mainly because it's a really low calorie milk opposed to soy milk, which is about double the calories. And the dates, there's 10 medjool dates here. And I'm going to use about a teaspoon of vanilla. Just a little guesstimate here. It's about a teaspoon. Okay, and I'm still going to leave my chia eggs out here, or my flax eggs, sorry, flax eggs. You can use chia seed also. It does just about the same thing. But we're going to blend this up until it's nice and creamy and there's no big chunks that you can see. This takes a few seconds. Alright, that sounds about right. Okay. And we're just going to pour these things into our dry ingredients. I'm going to do my flax eggs first. Yep, and it's pretty gummy. Looks right. And pour my wet ingredients in. I tell you, we've been working on this recipe for quite some time, just like my chocolate cake recipe. It took a long time to find a recipe that was gluten-free, and sugar-free and oil-free. That's a real challenge. But we've been working on it, and I think this is, I mean, we've been eating a lot of these chocolate chip cookies lately just to really perfect them. And I tell you what, I think we're all in love. All right, so we just keep mixing till it's all mixed in really well. Just like regular chocolate chip cookies, you know, minus the butter. This is all healthy. Although you still have to be aware of the calories, you know, it's still not a low calorie cookie. If that's, you know, if you're in a stage of really wanting to lose more weight, you might want to take it easy on these, maybe half a cookie. You could eat a whole cookie too, but they still do have some calories. Okay, now we add our chocolate chips, and as you can see, this is a partial bag because, silly me, I've left these in the cabinet in a visible place so everybody thinks they're just to eat, which happens a lot in my house because we all love them. So this is about 3/4 of this package, but I would normally use the entire package. My family just isn't going to get the super chocolatey ones this time, and it's their own fault. So I'm just going to mix that in there till I get my chocolate chips distributed pretty evenly. Looks pretty good. Okay, and I already have a cookie sheet over here lined with parchment paper or baking paper. Because you know me, I don't like to wash my pans, and I have an extra sheet for pressing the cookies down. So we're first going to just get some on there. This recipe makes about 2 dozen cookies, you know, and that's dependent on you, you know, and the size of cookie you like, but there it is. So my oven is preheated, or up to temperature, ready for me to put these in here. Okay. And you know, these ones, because there's no fat in it or there's no oil or like butter, they're not going to squish out really, you know, like the really perfect looking chocolate chip cookies that are, you know, perfectly round and gooey. These still will stay a little bit gooey in the center, but they may not look like a perfect chocolate chip cookie because there's no excessive fats to help smush it down into that perfect circle. But we will try to make them look nice. And I tell you, the taste is going to win you over. You're not going to care what those cookies look like. This and a glass of almond milk or a cup of coffee. Ooh, so tasty. All right, so this is a thing I like to do. Then I don't have to get my hands dirty. You could put a little water on your hands and smush them down, but this to me is so much easier. Smush, smush, smush. And then you're done. You don't have to wash your hands again or dirty up a towel. Just peel it off. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna stick these guys in the oven. I'm gonna put them in to start for just 20 minutes. You're just gonna have to watch them, you know, check them at 20 minutes, and if you think they need a little bit more time, put them in for 5 more minutes. But my temperature, just like just about anybody's oven, your temperature sometimes fluctuates a little bit and it's not always consistent, so I'd rather go on the shy side of the time and then check them during the last few minutes so they don't burn. I'll show you when they're done. All right, here they are, guys. Look at that. Golden brown, still kind of gooey. They smell so good. But it all comes down to the taste, right? So even though these are going to be really hot, I will survive. Look at that. Can you see that? It's not like gooey like a butter chocolate chip cookie, but that's so delicious. And I've got some almond milk here. I gotta finish this before they find out they're done.
Cookies!
Busted. Be sure to let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, check out my other videos, and I'll see you next time.